English Time Podcast.
Helping you speak English with confidence, naturally.
Hey, beautiful learners. Welcome back to English Time. I'm Henry, and it's so good to have you here with us today.
And I'm Emma. Thanks so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, actually. Feeling pretty grounded today. How about you?
I'm good. I was reflecting on something on my way here, and I think it ties in perfectly with today's topic.
Oh, yeah? What were you thinking about?
Well, have you ever had one of those moments where someone asks you, "How are you?" and you just default to saying fine, even though there's a whole storm of emotions going on inside?
Oh, absolutely. That happens to me more often than I'd like to admit. It's almost like an automatic response, isn't it?
Exactly. And that's precisely what we want to explore today. How to genuinely express your feelings in English beyond just the surface level responses.
This one really matters. And if this is your first time here, or if you've been with us before and you're enjoying what we do, we'd really appreciate it if you could hit the like button and subscribe. It really means a lot to us.
Yeah, it really does. And today's topic is particularly significant because emotional expression is at the core of meaningful communication.
It really is. You can exchange information all day long, but the moment you share how you genuinely feel, that's when real connection happens.
Exactly. And I have a story that illustrates this perfectly, actually.
I love a good story. What happened?
So, when I was first learning English, I came to English as a second language myself. I had this moment that really stuck with me.
Tell me about it.
I was at a friend's birthday party, and someone asked me, "How do you feel about living here?" And I just froze because I couldn't find the words to articulate what I was actually experiencing. I just said, "It's good." And then I smiled awkwardly and walked away.
Oh, no. But I completely understand. When you're put on the spot like that, it can be incredibly difficult to express yourself.
It really can. And the thing is, I wasn't just feeling good. I was feeling a complex mix of emotions. Excited, but also homesick. Grateful, but also overwhelmed. There was so much nuance to what I was experiencing, but all I could manage was good.
That's so relatable, and I think a lot of learners go through that exact experience. They know the feeling intimately, but they struggle to put it into words.
Precisely. And that's why I wish someone had walked me through this earlier. Because once you have the vocabulary and the confidence to use it, everything shifts.
So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to expand your emotional vocabulary, give you more colors on your palette, so to speak.
Yes, not just happy and sad. We're talking about nuanced feelings, complicated emotions, the messy, mixed feelings that make us human.
And we're going to do it in a natural, conversational way, the way people actually communicate. No boring vocabulary lists to memorize, just real, authentic conversation.
Exactly. And along the way, you'll absorb some really useful expressions organically, the same way you would from having real conversations with friends.
Perfect. Okay, so let's start with something relatively simple. How would you describe how you're feeling right now?
Right now, I'd say I feel calm, settled, maybe even a little, what's the word? It's like you're safe, but also warm, like being wrapped up on a rainy day.
Cozy.
Yes, cozy. It slipped my mind for a second. That warm, comforting feeling when you're curled up under a blanket on a rainy day.
It paints a much more vivid picture than just saying, I feel good.
Exactly. And here's something I found helpful. When you describe your feelings, you can also articulate what's triggering them.
Oh, like I feel calm because everything feels under control right now.
Yes, or I'm genuinely excited because I'm catching up with an old friend later.
That's so much more engaging than just saying, I'm happy.
Right? It helps people connect with your experience on a deeper level.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about some of the more challenging emotions, because life isn't always sunshine and rainbows, right?
Definitely not. So let's say you've had a particularly demanding day at work. How might you describe that emotional state?
I might say I'm stressed or I feel completely overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed is such a powerful word. It captures that sense of having too much to handle, like the demands are bigger than your capacity to manage them.
Yeah, like the waves keep coming and you're just trying to stay afloat.
That's a perfect metaphor. So you might say, I'm overwhelmed because I've taken on more than I can realistically handle.
Or I'm overwhelmed and I don't even know where to begin.
And it's worth noting, there's nothing weak about admitting you feel overwhelmed. It's actually a sign of self-awareness.
No, it's genuinely honest, and that kind of honesty takes courage.
It does. And here's something I want everyone to remember. You don't need fancy vocabulary to communicate your feelings effectively. Simple and clear is perfectly valid.
Yes, you can say, I feel exhausted, or I feel down, or I'm having a rough day.
Those are all legitimate expressions of real emotions, and they're enough.
The goal isn't to sound impressive or articulate. The goal is to connect authentically.
Exactly. To help people understand what's actually going on with you.
You know, I think one of the trickiest situations is when you're experiencing something, but you can't quite identify what it is.
Oh, that happens to me all the time. It's like there's this vague unease, but you can't put your finger on it.
Like you wake up and something feels off, but you can't name it or trace it to anything specific.
Yes, and that's completely valid too. You can just say, I'm feeling a bit off today, or something doesn't feel quite right, but I can't pinpoint what.
Those are perfectly acceptable things to express.
They are. You don't always need to have it all figured out before you speak.
And honestly, sometimes just admitting I don't know how I feel is the most authentic thing you can say.
That's actually really meaningful. It takes a certain vulnerability to acknowledge uncertainty.
It does, because we're conditioned to always have answers, to always appear in control.
But emotions aren't always neat and tidy. They're messy. They're layered. They don't always make logical sense.
And that's fundamentally human.
Completely human.
Okay, let me ask you this. What about when you're genuinely excited about something?
Oh, I love this. Instead of just, I'm excited, you can say, I can't wait, or I'm really looking forward to it, or I'm thrilled.
Those are so much more dynamic. What about the opposite, when you're dreading something?
Oh, dread is such an expressive word. It captures that heavy, anticipatory anxiety about something you really don't want to face. Like, I'm dreading Monday,
I think a lot of people can relate to that sentiment.
right? Or I'm dreading that difficult conversation, or I've been dreading this meeting all week.
It conveys something much stronger than just, I don't want to do it.
Much stronger. It's that sinking feeling in your stomach, the weight of knowing something unpleasant is coming.
Ugh, I know that feeling all too well.
We all do. And it's okay to verbalize it. Actually, sometimes articulating it out loud takes some of its power away.
Yeah, like the feeling becomes more manageable when you acknowledge it.
Exactly. That's one of the reasons why talking about emotions matters so much.
I love that insight.
You know what? I think we should try something a bit more interactive.
Oh yeah? What did you have in mind?
Let's do some role play. Let's imagine we're in a real-life situation and explore how we might naturally discuss our feelings.
I love that approach. Role play time.
Okay, so let's say we're two colleagues walking home after work, and I notice you seem a bit worn out. So I ask about your day.
Got it. Ready when you are.
So, how was your day? You seem a little drained.
Honestly, it's been a rough one. Actually, it's been a rough week altogether. I've been feeling pretty burned out lately. Just running on empty, you know?
Oh no, what's been going on?
Just work stuff piling up. I've been working late almost every night, and I feel like I'm pouring so much energy into this, but not seeing any meaningful progress. I'm drained and frustrated.
That's a really challenging combination, being both physically exhausted and emotionally frustrated at the same time.
Yeah, but just talking about it helps, honestly, getting it off my chest.
I'm really glad you felt comfortable sharing that with me.
Okay, let's pause there.
That was good. Notice how specific you were. You didn't just say, I'm tired. You layered your emotions. burnout, drained, frustrated. You acknowledge the complexity of what you were feeling.
Yeah, because feelings rarely come in isolation, right?
Exactly. Sometimes you're experiencing multiple emotions simultaneously, and they might even seem contradictory.
And that's not only okay, it's normal. You can say, I feel relieved, but also a little sad.
Or I'm excited, but also genuinely anxious about what's ahead.
Those are what we call mixed feelings, and they're far more common than we acknowledge.
Exactly. Life is complex. Emotions mirror that complexity.
Okay, let me address something I've observed. A lot of learners say, I feel boring, when they actually mean, I feel bored.
Oh, yes, that's such a common mix-up.
And it seems like a minor thing, but it completely changes the meaning.
Right. I feel boring implies that you believe you're an uninteresting person, that you lack personality.
But I feel bored means you're experiencing boredom because nothing is engaging your attention.
Significant difference.
Here's a helpful way to remember it. If you say, I am boring, you're essentially criticizing yourself. You're claiming you have nothing interesting to offer.
Exactly. So the lecture is boring, and that makes you feel bored. The ing describes the thing causing the feeling. The ed describes the person experiencing it.
The key takeaway, don't accidentally insult yourself.
That's definitely the most memorable way to keep it straight.
You got it.
And honestly, if you occasionally mix these up, people will still understand your intended meaning. It's not the end of the world.
Right. Effective communication first, grammatical perfection can come later.
Always.
Okay, let's venture into something a little more emotionally complex. How do you express feelings when you've been genuinely hurt?
Ooh, now we're getting into deeper territory.
We are, because when we're hurt, finding the right words can feel almost impossible.
That's so true. When I'm deeply hurt, my first instinct is often to withdraw and go quiet.
A lot of people have that response. It's a protective mechanism. But if you want to actually verbalize what you're experiencing, you might say something like, that really stung, or simply, that hurt.
Simple but impactful.
Or, I felt really let down. To feel let down means you're disappointed because someone failed to meet your expectations or follow through on something.
Like, I felt let down when you didn't show up after you said you would.
Exactly. And it's not aggressive or accusatory. It's just an honest expression of your emotional response.
What about when you feel fundamentally misunderstood?
Oh, that's particularly frustrating. You might say, I feel like what I'm saying isn't landing, or I don't think you're fully grasping what I'm trying to communicate.
Those are very clear without being confrontational.
Right. You're articulating your emotional experience without attacking or blaming the other person.
That distinction is crucial because when we discuss our feelings, the goal is to build connection, not to create conflict. And framing things with I feel rather than you always or you never makes an enormous difference.
Oh, that's such an important point.
Like instead of saying you never listen to me, which sounds like an accusation and puts people on the defensive,
You could say, I feel like I'm not being heard, or I feel dismissed when I try to share my perspective.
same underlying message, but delivered in a way that's much easier for the other person to receive.
Spot on. And people are far more likely to listen and respond with empathy when they don't feel like they're being attacked.
That's really meaningful.
It is. And so much of it comes down to how you frame things, the specific words you choose.
Okay, I have another angle to explore. What about expressing positive emotions, like when you want to convey genuine appreciation?
Oh, I love this. Beyond just thank you, you could say, I really appreciate you taking the time to explain that. Or, that means more to me than you know.
Those feel genuinely warm.
Right? And I'm incredibly grateful carries even more emotional depth than thankful.
What about expressing pride in someone?
You could say, I'm so proud of you, or make it specific. I'm proud of how you handled that difficult situation.
That specificity makes it land even more powerfully.
It does. Specific acknowledgement carries so much more emotional weight than generic praise.
You know, something that holds a lot of people back from emotional expression is fear. Fear of saying the wrong thing, of being judged or appearing weak.
Oh, that's so real, especially in a second language. I remember thinking, if I express this incorrectly, people will laugh.
And did that actually happen?
Almost never. Most people responded with kindness. They appreciate the attempt to connect, even when it's imperfect.
So, to everyone listening, if you feel hesitant to discuss your feelings in English, that's understandable, but try anyway.
Yes, try anyway, because with each attempt, it becomes more natural.
Emotions are universal. They transcend language barriers.
Your genuine emotion will come through, even if the words aren't perfect.
And ultimately, that authentic connection is what truly matters.
You know what I've been reflecting on as we've been talking?
What's on your mind?
Talking about feelings in English. It's not just about acquiring vocabulary, is it?
No, it runs much deeper than that. It's about building the courage to be vulnerable with another person.
Vulnerable. That's such a significant word in this context.
It means being open, willing to be truly seen, even when that feels risky or uncomfortable.
And that kind of openness is challenging in any language, regardless of fluency.
It is. But when you take that risk, something meaningful tends to happen.
People feel invited to connect with you on a more authentic level.
Yes, because emotional honesty is what makes us feel genuinely human to one another.
You know what I've come to realize? When someone shares how they're actually feeling, not the polished version, I find myself trusting them more.
Me too. That kind of honesty immediately creates intimacy and safety.
Like if you tell me I'm genuinely nervous about this presentation, I feel an immediate connection with you.
Because you're being real. In an age where everyone presents their highlight reels, being honest about your struggles feels almost radical.
So expressing your feelings isn't a sign of weakness.
Not remotely. It's actually one of the braver things you can do. And I want English learners to remember this. When you express your feelings in a second language, you're demonstrating remarkable courage.
And here's something I find really beautiful about this. When you open up emotionally, you're not just practicing English, you're practicing being human.
That's such a lovely way to put it.
Think about it. Every time you say, I feel nervous, or I'm really grateful, or that hurt my feelings, you're building a bridge between yourself and another person.
And that bridge doesn't require perfect grammar. It just requires honesty.
Exactly. The words might be simple, but the connection is deep.
And I think that's what makes language learning so deeply personal. It's not just about passing tests or impressing people.
It's about being able to share who you really are. Okay, let's give our listeners some go-to expressions they can start using right away.
Love that. So when things are going well, you might say, I'm feeling really good about things today, or I feel at peace.
Or even just, I feel content, which is such a nice word for that quiet, satisfied feeling.
Exactly. And when things aren't so great, I've been feeling a bit down lately. Works really well.
Or, I'm going through a rough patch. That one's so natural.
And if you want to explain why, just use I feel because. Like, I feel drained because I haven't been prioritizing sleep.
What if you can't quite identify what you're feeling?
That's valid too. You can say, something just feels off, but I can't put my finger on what it is.
And here's an important reminder. You don't always need to fully analyze your feelings before you voice them. Sometimes you just need to acknowledge them out loud.
That's such a valuable point. Speaking of which, when I was first learning English, I actively suppressed my emotional expression. I thought showing emotion was a weakness.
And how did that work for you?
Not well. I felt disconnected and isolated. But gradually, I noticed people actually responded positively when I allowed my genuine emotions to surface.
Because it made you relatable and real.
Exactly. And that realization completely changed how I approached both English and relationships.
Your emotional authenticity isn't a weakness. It's your pathway to deeper human connection.
I love how you phrased that.
And here's an important point. Keeping everything suppressed inside can be genuinely harmful. That's what we call bottling up your feelings.
Exactly. Like pressure building in a sealed container. The healthy alternative is to get it off your chest, to finally talk about what's been weighing on you.
And that release can feel like such a relief.
It really can. So don't bottle everything up. Find someone you trust.
That reminds me of the bigger picture here. Learning a language is naturally an emotional journey.
Deeply emotional. Some days you feel capable. Other days you feel like giving up.
And all of those responses are completely normal.
Entirely normal. So just as we discussed, identify and name those feelings.
Like, I feel frustrated because this vocabulary just isn't sticking the way I want it to.
Or I'm genuinely proud because I successfully navigated that entire conversation without freezing.
Or I'm anxious, but I'm going to attempt it regardless. That last one is particularly crucial.
It is, because courage isn't the absence of fear or anxiety.
It's acknowledging the fear and moving forward anyway.
Exactly.
And that's fundamentally what language learning demands of us.
One courageous sentence at a time.
I love that framing. One courageous sentence at a time.
Okay, I think we should start bringing this to a close. But one final reflection. Feelings aren't just something to express, they're something to honor.
And when you develop the capacity to express them, you learn to understand yourself more deeply.
Exactly. This conversation isn't just about vocabulary, it's about emotional intelligence. It's about becoming more fully human.
Before we wrap up, here's a question for our listeners. What's one feeling you've been carrying inside that you haven't found a way to express yet?
Maybe try to express it in English, even just one honest sentence.
You don't need perfection, you just need authenticity.
And if you feel comfortable sharing, drop a comment below. Tell us how you're feeling right now in this moment.
We genuinely love reading your comments. They really brighten our day and remind us why we do this.
They truly do.
All right, everyone. That brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you again for spending this time with us.
We'll see you in the next one.
Take care of yourselves, and remember, your feelings are valid. They matter.
And you matter.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Your progress so far has already been wonderful. If you'd like to keep going and feel even more confident with your English, feel free to check out the next video or take a look at some of the other ones we've picked for you.